Hi, everyone. So I finally did watch part two and part three of Salt Lake City, and I watched the uncensored version. So I'm going to talk about it. Part two, Angie's is going back and forth with Monica, talking about how she spends her money on purses and not on her kids. And this is really a leftover on the fact that Monica was explaining how she was not getting paid working for Jen. Makes no sense. And she was only receiving a few, she's only receiving $3,000. Look, I don't, I'm not saying only to diminish how much money she's receiving in child support, but I am saying that to say that that does not compete with the lifestyle of the people that she is with. And even if we are going to, it doesn't. Okay. But even as a modest income, that seems to be not enough. And especially if you're driving a Range Rover is about at least, well, a new one is going to be about at least a $600 to $800 car payment or lease payment, unless you had a large down payment. Thus, you need a job. And so you need a job that's paying. So, I mean, I think that is the thing that people are struggling with. Um, and honestly, you can't afford to buy $1,000 purse. Um, so we do this whole Bahamas and Monica not speaking. Monica's mom and her not speaking, I actually have to kind of agree with Bondi Blue on this. I don't know what to believe. I do think that Monica and her mom's life is, their relationship is problematic. I do. She even said that she left the 12 when she was trying to start her own career and left her at 12. She was trying to be on TV. She begins to give all these other examples of how her mom is not a good person, how her mom was really trying um, to get on the show, how she was praying that she would get on the show and Monica wouldn't. It was just, how everybody was able to see how much she was really trying to be take up, trying to really impress everyone. And then how Heather was like she was impressive. This leads to a whole conversation about how everybody's mom relationship is jacked up. Heather only talks to her mom via holidays, but that's because her mother is still involved in the Mormon church. And they only talk via text message. Whitney and her mother didn't talk for 10 years. Now they're actually communicating. She's not talking to her dad. Um, okay. Now we get into this Monica and Angie fight about Monica falls in her house. Let me say this. I actually I know this sounds really jacked up, and I would not sue a friend, but these chicks aren't my friend. If I was from Monica's perspective, these people aren't my friend. And if I was going to film a reality show in my house, and I'm going to have all these people in my house, and I'm going to have all these people like parading around in my house, I actually think that Angie should put a rail on um on her stairs. And I'm saying this because, see, this is what I think. I think this is a fascinating conversation actually to have, because these housewife shows and these people who decide to film on reality TV, in my mind, I would think that you would need to get extra insurance. And I'm sure that the TV channels have extra insurance for sure going on. because I'm concerned you have all of these extra people in the house. All of this is now a liability, and someone absolutely seriously could be injured into your in your house. She was seriously injured. I mean, she had all these bruises. She was um bloody. I mean, I think she put 10 on 20, but she did have some serious bruises. And should she have sued? Um, I wouldn't be mad if she did. And I think that Angie brings up this situation with Angie brings up a fascinating conversation because I do think that you should have some safety measures in your house. I, when you buy a house, they do consider all of these other things about safety. And in your house, if you have stairs that don't have a railing, they typically want you to put up a railing or they won't insure your house. And the way, and it's not even carpet. So that means it has a tendency to kind of be more slippery. So the odds are that people will absolutely possibly fall in your house. Look, I'm not saying that she needs to sue, but if she did sue, I'd be like, well, you should see this coming. Does that make sense? Anyway, Angie, that part of your house is unsafe. And I think that if you're going to be having hundreds of people in your house, you need to consider that you should be as safe as possible. Meredith, Monica throws Meredith under the bus and says that you could take her house. And Meredith's like, look, you're liable. I didn't say you could take her house. She probably did because she don't like Angie. So Angie's trying to give her side, talking about how she felt unsafe. She threw a shoe. Look, if I fall down your thing, I am not going to be like excited and happy that I fell down. Like it looks like it's marble or something to that effect. So my butt hurts. I'm gonna let you know I am in my early 40s. I fall that hard, that's gonna hurt. Like if I fell that hard, even though I have a nice size behind, my tailbone is gonna hurt. My knees are going to hurt. It's going to take me a large minute to get up. And if I have to go to the hospital, I think if I was her and I'm supposed to be this wealthy person, I would be calling my attorney immediately, asking what my liability would be. And I would absolutely be like, let me give this person a check because her medical bills I would need to cover. That's me. Why would I do that? Because it's in my house. And I am liable because this person happened to fall. Now, granted, you don't like Monica. I get it. But and even you guys were friends at this point. That would even mean more to me that you would be like, okay, you went to urgent care? Send me your bills, girl. Send me your bills. You would at least have that conversation. And the fact that Angie is so angry, acting like that isn't a possibility, seems strange to me. Um, Lisa and Monica, they're going back and forth. I mean, Lisa and Monica go back and forth a lot in part two. They go back and forth a lot in part three. It gives me a headache listening to it. It gives everybody collectively a headache. So there's that. Lisa and Monica, she feels Lisa and Monica. Lisa is calling Monica being she's so manipulative. Mary is out. Mary, this is the funniest thing to me. Mary is like, look, which one's worse? You calling Heather an inbred or Heather talking about your house? She's like, talking about my house is worse. Now, it sounds ridiculous, but here's the reason why she is saying this. Mary's like, I will tell you how I feel to your face. Heather will not tell you how she feels to her face. Heather will tell you after the fact. So Mary's like, You smile in my face and then you turn around and say something negative about me behind my back. And therefore, I have a problem with that. And so that's what the issue is. It's not to say that being called an inbred is not very, is not a, not a bad thing. It's not the words, it's the fact of the sentiment. You were fake in my face and behind my back, you're saying all this other stuff. And even though what she said wasn't all that bad about the house, it was to be shady. And she's like, you're being shady. I don't like it. And therefore, I'm cool on you. And so with that part, I get it. I actually understand where Mary's coming from. Mary claims that Whitney is a racist based on her religion. I did not mind this. And I'm gonna take it a step further. Whitney keeps asking, is there something that I said to you specifically? And she's saying no. I'm gonna be honest, it is not what she said her, it's the way that they treat her, and it is very difficult for me to explain this. I have said this online. People don't like when I say this, but it is the truth. I have had, I find this show to be one of the most triggering shows for me watching because even though Mary is very snarky and she says stuff that is so inappropriate, the way they antagonize her, the way they want her to behave just like them and not want, they want her to conform and be like them. I have had situations over and over again. I am not as snarky as Mary. I don't say half of the things that Mary says, but the way that this continues to happen over and over again, and them trying to get her to behave in a way that makes them feel comfortable, is racist. Just it is, it is. And so therefore, I get that. Um, Lisa is adamant that the Mormon faith is not racist. Everyone else is like, yes, it is. Like, Lisa, you only read up to chapter 3 of the book. You need to keep reading. And then when you keep reading, then you'll, discover. Um, they're screaming back and forth in regards to how did Mary feel still about the Bahamas, watching it because she wasn't there. And Mary eventually's like, look, I think they need to hear her out. They really are trying to get Mary to not like um Monica because they feel by telling her how Monica was calling her some names and stuff like that, and then you need to just co-sign. This is what they're trying to do, trying to get her to co-sign. And she's not willing to co-sign, which is really aggravating them to against Monica. So I just think that is a really interesting, caveat. And that's all I have on part 2 of Salt Lake City.